Those of you who still use cable probably know the big mainstays, Ronald McDonald, Tony the Tiger, Pillsbury Doughboy, but do you ever have those commercial mascots you remember like every 5 years or so and wonder if they ever actually existed or if they're just something you hallucinated? I'm here to uncover those. These are my top 10 forgotten mascots. Any fellow YouTube poop veterans of the golden age of the art a decade ago may remember Tyrannosaurus Alan and his cohort George the Volcano, the dynamic Dino-era duo whose idiosyncratic voice acting and puppeteering caught a lot of attention.
I'm filling my water with volcanicity. Rain filters down through my handsome volcano rocks to create a wild mineral water that grabs life by the conkers and...
What do these two sell again? Water? I'm more drawn to the notion that Alan has a canonical, no-doubt blood-drenched body count because he actively talks about eating people in these. I think it speaks volumes that I've never seen these ads on TV. They got their reach to me in particular, and most likely at least some others exclusively spliced back-to-back with Zelda CDI cutscenes, and I think that speaks to the power of internet nonsense. I've never purchased or seen Volvic in a store, but hey, I know it now.
Volcano filtered so it's full of volcanicity. Yes.
Alright, let's see what you... Hey, no, ow, gross, I don't like it. For the record, I hate this little abomination, Digger the Dermatophyte, but he makes my list purely for not only what a disturbing character he is, but for how confusing his personification was. Like, as a young kid seeing these, I thought they were genuinely little gremlins lifting my nails without me noticing and living under them, and boy howdy if that's not a good way to sell an infection treatment. I see Digger every time I shut my eyes. Good riddance, I'm glad he's not in commercials anymore. Buried along with the 90s are a very particular brand of wacky and radical that's hard to market these days, which is probably why it's been so long since we've heard from the crazy craving. Tony the Tiger and Toucan Sam are still sitting pretty at the exclusive country club with the rest of the cereal mascot elites, but I can't remember the last time I saw honeycomb cereal in a store, and I think this hideous creation had a lot to do with that. What's truly terrifying about Crazy Craving is that he isn't a single being so much as an epidemic living within all of us, waiting to come bursting out at the temptation of honeycomb. Don't let it happen to you. Take the precautions, and God bless. There's no place for hideous creatures like these in our post-90s media zeitgeist. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go play Crash Bandicoot Completion for the 30th time. Alright, hear me out. This is a domain name company called GoDaddy. Does that indicate what we're getting into? The longest running marketing campaign for GoDaddy surrounded a team of GoDaddy girls who would exist, and then there's domain names somewhere in there. I know sex sells and stuff, but it gets super gross when the CEO of GoDaddy himself shows up in these ads and asks the GoDaddy girls to objectify themselves on his specific behest. Especially when actual pretty famous women like Danica Patrick and Jillian Michaels became GoDaddy girls. What on earth was this workplace environment? Some of these commercials just resemble long, drawn-out, titillating skits that don't even mention online domain names. And the thing is, I'm sure it worked and got lots of clicks for that site. While these ads were mainstays of my younger years, GoDaddy has since moved to a more progressive marketing style, which makes a lot of sense, but don't worry, as a company, they're still pretty evil. I found Carl and Ray pretty mystifying at first, like what do some rabbit and guinea pig have to do with Blockbuster? There is a bizarre voyeuristic sensation that I can really glean. As we look to animals to escape our everyday stresses, they cannot leave the simple lives we sometimes envy to partake in the establishments they can only observe. Modern pleasures begotten by evolution we take for granted for fantasy of a carefree life of a rodent. Or maybe it's just cute animals with celebrity voices.
Hey, Ray, look at all those movies, huh?
You think I could be a movie star, Carl?
Can you act?
Oh, I could act like a movie star. This isn't imported water.
Even if the concept is pretty strange, I think the voice performances do well. Ray by Jim Belushi and Carl by, Hatsune Miku. I mean, with streaming as the new norm, I guess Carl and Ray need no longer to envy their neighbors. In fact, any pet I've ever had has no choice but to sit through every episode of Glow I watch. Carl and Ray would be proud. At the height of fame of Whose Line Is It Anyway, it's no surprise the stars got a lot of endorsement deals, including Colin Mockery, who portrayed the Snack Fairy.
Hi, I'm a snack fairy.
Since Nabisco's snacks are kinda trendy and nebulous, it was probably in their best interest to create a mascot who was more or less just as much so, and a middle-aged fellow in a tutu acting utterly casual despite the pretense of being a magical creature was exactly what the doctor ordered. As someone with a lot of nostalgia for finding Fig Newtons in my lunchbox, I quite like the Snack Fairy, even if a short-lived ad campaign, Mockery's inherent charm can't be denied. There's nothing overtly aggressive or tongue-in-cheek, just, yeah, I'll buy some Oreo Thins from Colin Mockery, he's too wholesome to deny.
Snack happy.
Now this one hits home for me big time. Frontier Airlines, known for their nature photography on their planes, played these ads depicting the animals having casual conversation as if they were just co-workers.
Trevor Ryan Glenn, baggage handler extraordinaire.
He's the Sultan of the suitcase, man.
The Duke of Duffel Bags.
Viceroy of the valise.
The Lord of Luggage.
As a Denver, Colorado native, these were everywhere when I was young, to the point that I don't even know if they're that well known outside of that particular circle where I grew up, but I always found them pretty cute and funny in their own right. My family and I would often play a game every time we'd take a flight and guess which animal would be in our plane's tail. The winner would take the window seat, which I guess is your proof that your marketing worked. I just hope there aren't all too lonely while traveling is a big no-no. I'll be back soon, Grizz and Larry.
Hey guys, where should we go for lunch?
How about Philly for cheesesteaks?
Yummy.
It doesn't get much more straightforward than the Budweiser frogs, and I think there's a lot of charm to that. I'm not much of a beer guy at all, but I associate it and these ads with some of my swampier Midwestern roots. A cool, casual ambiance these ads capture really effectively. It's also neat to see such extensive practical effects. If my untrained eyes don't deceive me, this is largely puppets, and really impressive ones at that. They tried down the line to spice things up with these extraneous lizards and such, but you just can't go wrong with a few burpy frogs to put one in the mood for a brew. Absolutely crack open a cold one with a bunch of frogs rather than whatever spring break chads are selling beers these days. Now this is peak Y2K, the Nestea Cool Snowman, a gaunt, hobbling skeleton who could only reclaim his frosty visage with a Nestea Cool. I love how strictly 2000s this ice wad is. The attitude, the irreverence, the claymation. He's so neat to me, as probably unpalatable as this campaign is to a modern audience. I just can't think of something as 2001 as this mascot melting off his snow and needing to replenish because he's getting hot and bothered watching Charlie's Angels full throttle. Me too, buddy, me too. As far as I know, Nestea Cool isn't even sold anymore, let alone have we heard from this enigmatic, gruff, frosty lookalike. I hope he's somewhere drinking all the Nestea he wants, nuzzled up with Charlie's Angels, and just enjoying his retirement. I tip my toque to you, sir. As if anyone else could be number one, there is a very close adjacent universe in which the Noid is a mainstay of fast food advertisement. And while he's something of a joke now, I do not say that with an ounce of irony. These ads feel like quick, bite-sized Looney Tunes cartoons, and with their own flair, with a painstaking and charming stop-motion style courtesy of claymation legend Will Vinton, whose work you may know from other advertising campaigns like the California Raisins, all the way up to feature film, including a personal favorite of mine, The Adventures of Mark Twain. And yeah, to tell you the truth, these ads always put me in the mood for pizza. Go figure. If it weren't for the tragic fate that befell the Noid, I really think he would have been huge, maybe even subject of his own cartoon series, a theoretical I discuss on the Animates, a YouTube channel where I discuss various cartoons and adjacent ideas with my buddy Martin. If you want to see my Noid cartoon pitch, as well as hours of other cartoon-related discussions, you should go subscribe. A countdown all about commercials, ending in effectively a commercial? What else would you expect? Link in the description to check it out. Thanks for watching to this point. Have a nice day.